Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video we are going to understand the another problem from the weekly contest 166 is climbing stairs 2, right? So this problem is very important because this is not a classical Fibonacci climbing stairs problem, right? If you have gone through one of the video of mine where I have talked about the climbing stairs, right, that is a different problem, right? This is not the classic Fibonacci climbing stairs problem. Instead, we can jump in 1, 2 or 3 steps, and every jump has a special cost, right? This is what the question is saying that here, right? So let's break it down in very simple steps, this problem, so we can understand easily here, right? So what the question is saying, that question saying you are climbing staircase with n plus 1 steps numbered from 0 to n, right? So you are also given an array that is called cost, right, where the cost at I is the cost of step I, right? So from step I, you can jump to I plus 1, I plus 2 or I plus 3. The cost of jumping from step I to a step j is defined as what? Cost at j plus j minus I to the power 2, right? Means we can say the cost of jumping, right? We can say this, right? We have defined in such a way where what is this j minus 1? J minus 1 is, or we can say j minus, not 1, j minus I, right here. So this j minus I is nothing but is how far you jumped, right? So this is the cost at j, we can say that, but j minus 1 is how far you have jumped from the next step from I to j, right? And that you can get from here, right? So that is why it is saying that from step I you can jump only to step I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3, right? So let's suppose this is your I plus 3. So I plus 3 minus, if j is I plus 3 minus I, you will do minus minus I, it will go on, right? Only left is 3. So it is called the cost at j, something will be there, plus 3, we'll say that, right? And that we will say this is the cost of jumping, we can say that, correct? So previous cost will be some there, and you are adding the current steps, you can say. So you will do the square of that, you can do that, okay? So you start from step 0 with the cost 0, right? So initially, let's suppose it starts from 0. So this will be, the cost will be what? 0. But you are adding some steps here, so we'll add the steps as per your jump, right? So we have to return the minimum total cost to reach a step n, and this is our example we have, where we have given n equal to 4 and cost is 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are some steps is there. Let's try to understand here, okay? The very first step is, it is saying that the minimum cost is, let's suppose, is we have defined in that way jump, if you are doing jump from 0 to 1, right? So there will be some cost will be there, right? The cost at I plus 1 square means I minus 0 square is nothing but 1 square. So it will come what? Cost at 1 was, let's suppose, is 1, and this 1 square is nothing but 1. So the cost will you get is 2, correct? In the next step, when we go from 1 to 2, the cost become what? Cost at 2 plus 2 minus 1, right? Means current step is 2, that is j, minus 1, it becomes square, 2 plus 3 is nothing but 3. Similarly to 4 will go, right? In that case, we'll say cost at 4 is, we can say 4 minus 2, and 2 square is 2 is 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8, right? So when we are going from step 1 or a step 0, we can go from what? 1 to 2, right? And in this case, let me explain. Let me write here so you will understand. Okay. Okay. So what I'm saying, let's suppose we have n equal to 4, right? And the cost we have given is 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is what we have given in the form of array, right? So in the very first step, if I will say that what is the minimum cost, so we'll say, okay, minimum cost is nothing but is 0, right? The minimum cost is 0. We'll say, okay, in that, what is the cost at 1? So cost, if this is cost, we'll say cost at 1 plus 1 square. This is what we have given the question, right? So cost at j plus j minus 1, and this j minus 1 is nothing but 1. So if you do the square, you will get what? You will get some value. What is the value is there? 2. This is 1 and this is the cost, will get 2. So the minimum cost in the very first step will get is 2. We'll say, okay, let's go with the step 2. This is step 1. So what are the options we have when we come here? So option is from step 1, or we can say from step 0, right? You can start at step 1 or step 0, right? That we have given. So either you will take 1 step or 2 step, right? So what are the possibilities there? Either from this 1 you can go to the 2, right? So it is saying if you are at a step, some steps are there, so you can from step 1 you can go, right? Or a step 0 you can go, right, from here. So let's suppose the options I'm talking is, let's suppose from 1 to 2, right? So here we will say, okay, just we need to add 2 here, right? So when we are going 1 to 2, so we'll say, okay, when we are starting from 1, 2 plus 2 plus 1, right? The j minus 1, right? So it will give you how many? It will come 5. When we start from 0, this is nothing but what? 0 plus 2, and we can say 2 to the power 2 is nothing but 4. We'll get how many? 6. So we'll say, okay, in the step 2, so in step 2 we have is 5, okay, because minimum we need, right? Let's understand the next step. The step 3 we can say is, we have 3 options, right? 3 options. What are the options are there? Let's think. Options are 9, then we have 9, and then we have 12. What is the minimum here? We'll get the minimum is 9, and because we have the 9 here, right? So we'll say, okay, minimum is 9. So we'll say, okay, the minimum we will choose is 9 this time. Then a step 4 will go, and we'll say how many options are there. Similarly, we'll say, okay, we have 3 options again we will get, and the options we will get is what? 14, 13 and 15. I'm saying this will be our thing that I have calculated. Okay, so what is the minimum here? We'll say minimum is 13. So my minimum will say, okay, minimum is 13, right? So in this way we can get the minimum 13, and that is why the answer was coming 13, because as we have calculated here, we have to calculate from the 2, we will get the minimum is 2, 5. Similarly, in the next step we'll get the minimum like this, right? You will get the minimum 9. Again in the next step we'll get, so each time you have to think about, right, from the steps how we are going in the next step, right? Are you understanding or not? So give me 1 second. So let's see here. Okay, very first, if I'll say the steps, right? The steps are, let's talk about, originally we are at 0, right? Then we have some value will be there, either we'll go to step 1, 2, 3 or 4, right? The steps, you understand, right? The steps like these type of stairs are there, right? So you are, let's suppose in very first you are at where, at you are at 0, so either you will take the 1 step, 2 step, 3 step or 4th step, right? Like that I'm talking about. Okay, so let's understand. Very first is we have the steps, right? These steps originally is 0. We'll say okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the steps that we will take, right? So if you are at step 0, there is no cost there, right? So we'll say okay, the cost is nothing, you'll take it as a here as a 0, right? When we take the step 1, right, in that case what we will get, we'll get 1 cost. Okay, from 0 to 1. When we talk to about the here, we'll say okay, let's talk about the cost is 2. So we'll say okay, cost is 1, cost is 2. Like this we can say. When we at steps 3, we'll say okay, what is the cost at here? We'll say cost at here is 3. Similarly for the step 4, we'll say okay, what is the cost here? We'll say is 4. Now understand, cost at 1, cost at 2, cost at 3, cost at 4. Can we say that? So this is nothing but is what is this cost? This cost is nothing but the cost. This is costs, and this cost of cost at landing, we can say that, right? Cost at landing, where we will go, right? So I was saying, if from 0, let's for example, very simple step, if from 0 means we are talking about here. So when we start from here and we want to go where, here, here, here or where, right? So when we start from 0, right, it means we will go, what are the possibilities there? We can go 0, from 0 to 1 we can go, we can 0 to 2 we can go, from 0 to we can go to 3 we can go. These are the possibility that we have given, right? Either 1 step, 2 step or 3 step. 4th step is not given, that is why I am not writing here. Okay, so when we go from 0, the 3 possibilities are there, 1, 2 and 3. So how we are calculating? Let's calculate from 0 to 1. If we are calculating, cost at 1 is nothing but is what? Is 1, right? You can see here, right? Cost at 1 is nothing but 1. So we'll say okay, the 1. Now the formula is saying what? The j minus 1, right? So we will say okay, means 1 to square, it will become 1 square. 1 minus 0 is nothing but 1. So we'll say okay, it is 2. Similarly for 0 to 2, we'll say cost at here is 2. So we'll say okay, this is 2, right? Then j minus I is become what? 2 to the power 2 will get is 6. From 0 to 3 we will go. In that case it become what? 3 plus 3 to the power 2, right? Here we'll get is 12. Let's go to the next. So we will say okay, now similarly we'll go from step 1, right? From a step 1, the possibility is what? From 1 to 2 we can go, from 1 to we can go 3 because in the next step, and we'll go to 1 to 4, right? As you can see, from if you are already at here, you can get 1, 2 or 3 steps you can go, right? So we can say these are the possibility, right? In that case, if you calculate, this will become what? In the when we are at a step 2, right, we get the value is 2, right? So we'll say okay, 2 plus 1 to the power 2, right? Because again 2 minus 1 is nothing but 1, right? And we'll say okay, this will give you 3. Similarly from 1 to 3, we'll say okay, current value is 3 plus 3 minus 1 is 2, it will become 2, and we'll say okay, this is 7. Next from 1 to 4 we'll go, we'll say okay, the value will become is 4 plus 4 minus 1 is nothing but 3. 3 to the power 2 is 9. 9 plus 4 is 13, right? Similarly, we'll go for from 0, 1 and 2. This is 2, right? So when we go to the 2, what are the possibility? So from the 2 we can go 3 and 4. Only 2 possibilities left, right? So from 2 we can say from 2 to 3 we will go, and then 3 to 4 will go. Only these 2 possibilities are there. So similarly we'll calculate. This will become 3 plus 3 minus 2 is nothing but 1 square, means we'll get 4. Similarly for this step, this will become is nothing but 4 plus 2 to the power 2 become, right? It means 8. In the last step is from 3, means when we are at 3 we'll go only one step, means we'll reach to the last, right? So we'll say okay, there is only one step is left, 3 to 4. In this case, if we'll calculate, it will become 4 plus 4 minus 3 is nothing but 1 square, will get 5. So now for each time you will understand that the staircase we have given, means for this staircase we have the cost and how we are calculating at the steps, right? And that is why we have seen that when I was talking about here, right, at each step, right, we are getting the steps, right, and we are finding the minimum, right? Similarly for each steps, what are the possibilities are there that you can get, like in these cases, right, we will calculate and we'll get the minimum, right? Because for each step either you will go one step, 2 step or 3 step. These are the given possibilities, right? Means for this 0, either you can go 1 step, 2 step or 3 step. But if you reach at some step, from here you can go 1 step, 2 step or 3 step. Similarly for when you are here, the possibility is there where you can go 1 step, 2 step only. When you are reaching at 3, you can go to only 1 step. When you reach here, there is no more steps to go, so you can say okay, fine. But each time you will get some minimum, right? You will get the minimum, you have to update the minimum and you return the cost, right? So once you understand here, so now you will say okay, what is the pattern is here? Have you noticed the pattern, right? So to reach a step I, right, you must come from where? I minus 1, I minus 2 and I minus 3. In either cases or cases you can say, either you will go from I minus 1, I minus 2, I minus 3, right? Let's suppose I'm talking about these are the stairs, right? Like this. If this is, let's suppose is I, right? Means this step become what? I minus 3, this become I minus 2 and this become what? I minus 1, correct? That is why we can say to reach here, this is the pattern. To reach I, step I, we must come from I minus 1, I minus 2 or I minus 3. So there is a recurrence relation in the DP concept, right? If something happens, right, again, we can use the DP recurrence relation, right? If you are my student that you are studying with me, so you already understand what is the recurrence relation, right? So recurrence relation is that we can say, okay, what is the recurrence relation here? We say DP at I to reach at stair, right, or step I, right? You have to come from where? I minus 1, I minus 2 or I minus 3. So we'll say, okay, find the minimum, right? How we will find the minimum? We'll say, okay, DP at I minus 1 plus cost at I. Make sure that you are not losing the cost, right? So this is the one thing you can get from I minus 1, we can say, right? Plus, I'm writing the next line so you can understand, okay? Plus, you will give 1 here, okay? For each time, we'll give 1 here, okay? Then we'll say, okay, DP I minus 2 plus the cost. These are the cost. Okay, so cost at I, we can say, right? So cost at I, what we have to add? Let's suppose give the 4 to understand. Okay, in similarly we'll say, okay, dp at I minus 3 plus the costs at I, and this time we'll give 9. Understanding? Means we have to give this, because very first it will give 1 square, then 2 to the power 2 square, and 3 to the power 2 is 3, means 9. Means when you are doing 1 square you will get 1, when 2 square you will get 4, and for 3 square you know that 9 it will come. So for each step, this is for the first step, second step, and third step. So you have to give the recurrence relation and you will compute the dp at I. I hope you understanding. I'm trying to make you understood clearly. Okay, so let's talk about how we'll write the code. Okay, very first, let's suppose we have given two things, right? The function that you have given is let's suppose we have given public int, right? And you have given climb stair. This is what you have given, right? In the argument you will have given is n, int n, and there will be int, and you will write the costs. Okay, this is your function. So very first what you need to do, you will define, okay, int dp at 0 is nothing but 0, right? You will initialize from dp. Similarly we will say, okay, int dp at 1 will take, and we'll say, okay, what is at dp at 0, give that, plus the cost at 0 will add 1, right? So this is the very first two steps you have to define here, but you have to take the edge cases if n equal to 1. If you are at the very first step, right, you return the dp1 with the cost that we have calculated, right? And then further we will calculate dp at 2, means we'll define int dp at 2, and we'll say, okay, mass dot mean, right? And we'll pass two things, right? Very first, what is at dp at 1, right? And what is the costs at 1 that we have seen. You give either 1 square, 2 square, 3 square. So you will, for the first step, you will give the 1 square. Similarly, for the dp at 0, we'll give the cost at 1 here itself, not 0 you will give this, but this time it will become 2 to the power 2 is nothing but 4. So you will give the 4. Then let's close here itself, because we had calculated the dp at 2. So we'll get it. But if n equal to 2, you have to return what? You have to return dp at 2. Understand? So because n each time we have given, so we'll say, okay, this is 2, we will do. Now what we need to do, we have to write the further logic similarly, and we'll calculate the dp. Okay, so let me show you how I have done, so you will understand the full code. I don't want to write full code here, I don't want to waste your time. So let's see directly on the console. So as you can see here, we have given this cost, and we have given, we'll check if n equal to 0, we should also return 0. So we have missed this one. If n is equal to 0, we will return 0. Otherwise you define dp at 0, dp at 1, right? These two we will define. So dp at 1 we will find like this, we will return if n equal to 1, dp at 1 will return. Otherwise we will calculate dp at 2. If n equal to 2, we will return dp at 2. Let's call for the dp at I more than we have given. Then what we will do, so we will iterate from I equal to 3 to n, right? We will see how many n we have given. Okay, so very first you have to find you will get the cost I minus 1 you will get the cost, right? Then you will calculate for next I minus 1, next I minus 2, and next I minus 3. Means 3 candidate will get always will find. Means when we are from the current steps, if we are taking 1 step, 2 step, or 3 steps, right? So you will find these 3 candidates. Out of this you will find the minimum. What is the minimum here? You will say that is will come in the DP at I, right? And you just need to slide the window, right? So you will slide this window, you will update DP at 0, DP at 1, DP at 2, you will slide it, and each time you will return DP at 2, right? Because this is the last one. So we'll return DP at 2, it's represent like a DP at end. Okay, this is what we have to implement. I hope you will like this video, guys. If in case if you have any doubt, please ping me in the comment box. Okay, and I'll see you tomorrow. And I'll request you, if you understand the problem, please write the time complexity, space complexity, right, in the comment box. And in case other than this, if you want the systematic preparation, please reach out to me through the WhatsApp, and we'll connect and we'll discuss your requirement, and we can have the one-to-one session. This is very minimal, at the minimum cost. We'll do structured web learning, so you can prepare your FANG preparation, right? So thank you, guys. Thank you for watching this video. In case you have any suggestion, please write in the comment box. That for now, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.